welcome to Dick Peterson After Dark. This series is going to focus on more relaxing gameplay than my normal portfolio. We're going to play games like colony management, city builders, and anything else that's just generally chill vibes. Today we're starting out with Timberborn, one of my favorite colony management games about beavers who live in a post-apocalyptic world where humans did not survive. You have to manage drought, poisonous water, and the ever-growing needs of an expanding colony. This game was released in 2021, receives regular updates every half year or so, and brings us to Update 7, which was released in March of 2025. So whether you're here to relax after a long day of work, unwind after the kids are down for the night, or need calm vibes to start your day, you've come to the right place. Now boot up that second monitor, grab your favorite warm drink, and embark on this relaxing journey with me. I'm going to start a new game, and I'm going to use the Folktales faction. The Iron Teeth faction is fun, but just understand that the play style is different. When you actually begin this game, you have to unlock the Iron Teeth by hitting certain achievements with the Folktales. So it's definitely for a more experienced playthrough. I'm going to just choose the Lakes map. This is one of my favorite maps. It's very relaxing. It's very easy to solve the environmental puzzles that the game throws at you, and it's very simple to build on. I'm also going to choose the normal game mode. The default game modes are easy, normal, and hard. If you go to easy, the bad tides and the droughts are much shorter. Those are essentially scenarios where you don't have water or where the water becomes poisoned and you actually can't drink it, and you have to deal with that. So it's much less prevalent in the easy mode. You also have more supplies. It's basically a more relaxing experience. Normal is where I normally play, and then hard, if you would like to not relax while you play this game and give yourself a little more of a challenge, then you can do that. You can also customize every single one of these options to whatever it is that you'd like to play with. You can do hard and not have bad tides. You can do hard and not have droughts. You can change the duration of droughts. So it's a very, very customizable experience. But again, we're going to start with normal. We're not going to customize anything. We're going to go ahead and name our settlement Dick Beaverson. One of the first things I like to do when I start any playthrough in this game is to just kind of pause the game, look around, get a good understanding of my surroundings. I've played on this map before, so I have a kind of a default strategy. What I'll normally try to do is block off this area early, try to increase my water level just a little bit so that when that drought comes, I have a little bit of extra reserve. And then what I'll do eventually is I'll come over here, and we don't have to worry about ramps yet because we have this built in. That's why this is a beginner-friendly map. But we'll come down here and we'll actually build a dam here, which will raise this water level, which will create a greater reserve. So when that drought again does occur, water can actually flow down and trickle in, and we can survive much, much longer and not have to worry about it. That'll bring us to basically essentially take care of our early game. It'll also create a greater flow as water comes down here. We're going to put most of our power here, and we're going to have it pretty much come across. So like I said, I like to do most of my building in paused mode because it is much better. The beavers don't come out here and start building what I'm placing. I also like to put a nice square around the town center. It kind of just helps me lay out what I want to do. And it makes my base symmetrical. So I think what I want to do first is I want to go ahead and get these trees taken care of, so that I can come down here and start building this. I can also use it to build this. So we'll go ahead and get that set up. We'll get our lumberjack flag put right here so that it's not in the way. I'm also going to get my water source set up. I like to start with 2 water pumps, so we'll do that now. 2. And we'll go ahead and place these. Now, when you're placing a farm, which I'm about to do, I typically don't like to place it on farmable land. That is a commodity in the early game before you can expand the water level and actually create more farmable land. So I like to put it in the barren land if I can. And when you place the farmhouse, you can now see that this is your tile radius. This is the radius in which the farmers will work, which is plenty. This is a very big radius. We have plenty of room here. Now, when you have a farmhouse with 2 workers, you can see that they've got an option for 3 here. 2 workers can essentially satisfy 72 tiles. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll plant 72 tiles worth of crop, which is going to be 12 by 6. And then we're going to place our storage containers for our water, our storage tanks, right here, and go ahead and use up that space facing this way. I like to put 2. That way, when the main storage tanks that I put over here are full, this is an easy overflow, and they can just put their water in there and somebody can come take it from here, and then these guys don't have to move or do anything else. The last thing I want to do before I unpause is I want to go ahead and put a harvesting flag right here. This is just temporary, but it's going to allow the beavers to harvest all of these berries, which are a very good source of early game food because they're already here. They don't need to grow. They're just there and ready to pick. Eventually, we're going to have our farm here with these carrots, and that's going to sustain us for a very long time. Just another quick tip, if you don't want your beavers to build one of your stations, for instance, if I don't want both of my water pumps to be built or both of my water storage containers, my tanks, I can just pause them. The last thing that we'll do is mark the trees for cutting, and we'll do that for all of these. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to start cutting these trees, which is going to allow us to build a path down here and go ahead and place our dam. And that reminds me, let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to dam this off so that it allows them to walk across. And we'll go ahead and do that right there. And what that's also going to do is allow us to build a walking path straight across so that now we can access these trees if we want to, which we eventually will need. There's also some berries over here. And these are oak trees, which are going to give us 8 logs when we chop those down. You can see our pine gives us 2, and our birch gives us 1. So I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. And let's change our working hours to 20. We don't like sleep. What we'll eventually do, we can actually start doing it now, is we can start building our houses. And actually, let me get one more flag to cut wood. That way we can have a lot of wood coming in, and we can start building our houses, or at least we can start placing them. I'm going to go ahead and place 2 houses here. And I'm going to put them like this, but I don't want to build them yet. Actually, I do want to build these, but I don't want to build these houses yet. So we're going to go ahead and place them, but we're going to pause so that they don't start to build the houses before I'm ready. If you'd like to change the direction that the door is on, or essentially flip or mirror the building, you just hit the F key. You can also rotate it with R. And if you do Shift R, it rotates it in the other direction. So I like to have all of mine in the same direction. All of my doors facing the same way. That was actually a mistake. Let's go ahead and delete that. You can either delete them with this delete button here on the menu, or you can also use the demolish buildings, hold down Shift, and it will delete it without having you confirm. If you don't hold down Shift and you click demolish building, you'll have to confirm that you want to delete something. So I did it again. So I build them in this direction, facing all the same way so that I don't have weird pathing. When paths get too close together like this, it creates this weird loop, which is a waste of space. They can either go this way or this way. You lose this tile. There's no reason to do that. So I try to avoid that whenever I can. It also doesn't look very nice. I go ahead and delete that path. And let's set this up correctly. So this will go here, here, here. You can see it goes straight across. And the reason that I leave this little tile is because there are many objects inside of the well-being, like the teeth grinder, the teeth grindstone, which is a single tile, which is very good to have in this area. Once they get out and they wake up, they can fix their teeth. The decoration are also, many of these are single tile, you'll notice. And they have an area of influence. And also many of the storage buildings are single tile. So if you wanted to have some sort of warehouse distribution center, you could do that, and you could have overflow here with those single tiles. So that's why I like to leave some space. It also just looks nicer. It makes it look like a less condensed area. You know, these aren't the iron teeth that live in the city and are very industrialized. These are the folktales, and the folktales like nature, and they like their space. So I like to kind of play with that theme and kind of build towards that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pause these so that we don't get them built, because we don't need this many houses right away, and it'll also use up quite a bit of our wood. We want to prioritize our wood right now to build our farmhouse, to build our pump, and to also build our dam. Now you may have to build sometimes a path to help the beavers get down. They can walk outside of the path, but sometimes if a building is too far away, you do actually have to extend the path down to the building in order for them to be able to reach it, even if they could get there without a path. The path extends the reach of your town center or of your district. Coming into our first day, the beavers that don't have houses, which is all of them, are just going to sleep on the ground, which is unfortunate. Got our first pumping station up, and what you notice is that it automatically assigns the beaver because it is a building that is not paused. The way that this works is you have a certain number of slots for unemployed beavers, bums, in your district, and the unemployed beavers are going to do things like hauling and building. And then the employed beavers are set up here, and they will go fill the jobs of the buildings. What will happen is you'll automatically pull from the unemployed beavers here. So if I never wanted to have more than 2 workers here doing this work, I could choose to basically, you see how I've just filled that in now, so there's 4 doing that work. The problem is that if I have less than 4 available workers, then it'll actually try to fill this, and it'll take people from other jobs. So we don't want to do that. So I typically try to keep this low, but 4 is fine because I have so few jobs right now that are going on. What I also need to start building, I just remembered, is an inventor. This is going to be your technology points or your science, which is going to allow you to unlock technology inside of this game. So we're going to go ahead and build 2 inventors here. I'm just going to have one of them built for right now. And actually, I'm going to change this so that we have conjoining or doorways that are next to each other. That looks much nicer. Saves a little bit of space. And now I've got this space right here where, again, if I wanted to put some sort of single well-being, or even what I like to do is I like to fill in the mini lodge. I haven't unlocked it yet, but when I like to use the mini lodge because that's a 2x1, and it's very useful because it provides housing. This is giving me a warning that I don't have connected to any district center by paths, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That is a requirement for any work buildings. They need to be connected to the district. Even though the beavers can reach that building, it needs to be connected to your path network. And you can see now that the beavers are working. So again, this is what I was talking about. Because I have too many beavers set up in my district, there's room for 3 workers here. I'm going to actually set it to 2. There's now room for 2 workers, but because this takes the priority, that worker won't go over there. So if I reduce this by 1, you can see that that beaver now fills in this spot, and they're going to go ahead and start being a farmer. What I also do with my farmhouses is I prioritize carrots Obviously, there's only one right now, and I prioritize planting. So what that means is that if there is an open tile of tilled land and there is a fully grown carrot, they're going to prioritize planting the carrot before they prioritize or before they go and do that harvesting task. All right, so we'll go ahead and let them build. It looks like it's nighttime. You can also speed through the night if you want to. I usually do that. No reason to watch them sleep. Now, when you place a tank or any other storage facility, you actually do need to set the product or the good that will be stored here. There are multiple different types of liquids, but right now we only have water, so we're going to store water there. We also need to place a storage area for our food. You can place a small or a large. Small can only store 30, whereas a medium warehouse will store 200. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the medium, and I'm going to put it right. I think right here is fine. And we'll get that stored, get that selected for carrots. Now you can see up here, this is our food. We have 120 berries. The carrot symbol is confusing because it is the general food symbol. It doesn't mean that we have carrots there. That's just telling us that's our food. If you look inside of the carrot symbol or inside of the food category, you actually only have berries. You can expand that or you can minimize it. Prioritize berries. Now the reason he's not doing anything is because there is a small cache of storage at the actual station or flag, which is 20. Once that's full, until somebody offloads that to something else, you see it just went to 17 because some people came and got berries. Now he goes ahead and does that. So I'm actually going to build a couple of small, and I'm going to put them right here. I'm going to build a couple of small warehouses and I'm going to make these berries. I know it's not the most efficient way to do it, but I don't use a lot of berries, only really initially. And I want to get as many as I can stored up, and we're going to eventually start taking out these berries once we get this built across. You can see here, my woodcutters are doing a great job. When you cut down a tree, what happens is a sapling will fall sometimes, and that sapling will actually then grow into a new tree. So it's kind of a self-planting situation here. But these stumps are never going to grow into new trees. So we actually do need to remove those eventually. But we're going to let them cut all of this out. I am eventually going to plant a forestry up here. And actually, I need to prioritize them building this. They need to get more logs to do this. Looks like they just started this construction. This takes quite a few logs because you need basically 20 per. So we can also put a designation here. We'll put 2 of them here, 2 flags, and then we'll go ahead and set these to be cut. There's always kind of this rush in the early game to get your things built up and not run out of wood. If you run out of wood in this game, you will die, basically, because wood is needed for a lot of things. If we can't get this dam set up, it's going to be very hard for us once we get our first drought. It's going to be very hard for us to kind of deal with that drought, because what the dam will do is it will block water up to a certain level, but it'll also keep anything that goes below the level from draining. So we can actually run our pump even when we have a drought, because we are still keeping water here. If this dam doesn't get built before the drought, when this water source way up here stops producing water, eventually all this water will flow out to the end of the map, and it will be gone. Or actually, it's over here. And the water will be gone, and we will have nothing, and we'll have to just survive off of our tanks, which is not a good idea. So I'm actually going to also allow that to be built. We're going to go ahead and store water there. Now, if we don't have enough workers, or if we have workers that are wasting their time, you can see that this is pretty much done. We don't need 2 woodcutters here, so we'll just pause that. And that worker will get reassigned to somewhere else. Hopefully he'll come over here and start working on this one. We're building our second water tank. I have to to be careful with my wood here. I really need to get this built up before I start making anything else. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. I'm going to go ahead and pause that as well, because this is really just for comfort, these houses. Comfort and expansion. We don't need any of that right now. What we need to do immediately is we need to get our things built. What you also notice too is when you're waiting for your first crop, these beavers are just going to hang out on the porch of this farmhouse. They have nothing to do. Their crop has been planted, but it's not grown. They can't harvest it. You can actually pause the work of the farmhouse, which will allow them to go work elsewhere. And I can assign a fourth person here so that there's a fourth person now who is doing the building and the gathering. Once these crops are ready, I'm going to turn the farmhouse back on so that they can come in here and harvest. And you can see that some of these trees are growing back. That's what those saplings do. It's also more efficient to cut this wood right here, because what they'll actually do is they'll temporarily store, because I have no log storage elsewhere in my base, they'll temporarily store the wood here, and people will pick up the wood here to go build over here. So it's actually a little bit more efficient. But once we get this built, all of this wood becomes available to us, and these are oaks, which give us 8 logs per tree. So that's going to help greatly. That's kind of the goal of the early game, is unlock as much wood as we can unlock, just so that we don't run out. What we'll eventually do once we get our technology online is we will actually unlock the forester, which will allow us to plant our own trees and essentially make the trees a renewable resource. Let's expand our town center this way. We may have to do this. Yep. And then we'll go ahead and we'll wait until they're done with these trees over here. But we'll go ahead and also take these birch trees. If the game speed is too slow for you and you have there's not a lot to do except for wait in the early game, you can just speed up the game. I try not to play on the fastest speed too often, because I feel like it kind of takes the relaxation out of the game. When you play too fast, you have to make decisions quickly. Things degrade quickly. You lose resources quickly. It's not very relaxing, but it definitely helps when you have literally nothing to do except wait. And the way that this works is basically beavers will drag resources and deliver resources to the construction site. And then once all the resources are delivered, it's basically done. And we're sleeping. And they got a solid 4 hours of sleep. All right, so what you can now see is that my carrots, which took 4 days to harvest, are now ready. Now, we're not going to have a scenario again where we can take these farmers off, so we're going to go ahead and allow that. And we're going to reduce this by 2 to get those farmers back. And what they're going to do is jump into here, and they're going to start farming this. They're going to start harvesting. Now, because there's nothing to plant, so they're going to start harvesting. Once that first thing is harvested, before they harvest the next one, they're going to plant a new one. That's important, because if you don't plant immediately, you don't start that cycle of renewable, constant farm or constant carrots for you to be able to farm. If you harvest this entire field first and then plant the entire field, you are literally creating downtime, which you don't want to do. So it's always better to make them harvest, they'll plant, harvest and plant, harvest and plant. And they'll do that cycle the entire time. And basically, you'll never have a scenario where you've got no carrots that are ready to harvest. And there they go. So you see they're harvesting and they're planting. Before they go on to the next harvest, they're going to plant. We're going to go ahead and pause this because it does take some logs and I want to get this built up. Now you can prioritize. I haven't done it. I'm just doing it by what I'm allowing them to build and what I'm not. But if you have multiple things, if you have a very big colony and you want people to prioritize certain things, you can actually increase the priority. We can make this the highest priority so that even if there are unpaused buildings, they will still come in there. They will still come in here and prioritize this. And it looks like that's now done. So that's perfect. So what you see now is the water level on this side of the dam is one tile higher, or one water level tile higher than this side. You can see it right there, right? The contrast. So once this water is gone, once it recedes, it will basically drop eventually below. You can see here, this is the opening. Once it falls below the opening, the water will be dammed off and it actually can't flow through anymore, and it will actually stay inside of here. So that's why we do that. It increases the water level. The next thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to set this up in a minute, is, we'll actually just do it right now. We're going to dam this off. Now, what we need to do first is unlock the levee, because if I dam this off, I'm going to have to put two dams on top of each other, which you actually can't do. Oh, you can do that. You'll have to put two dams on top of each other. But the problem is, if you do that, you can see that the bottom here is open. So you'll never actually get water that comes this high. It'll just flow through the bottom. So that's useless. There's no reason to do that. The solution to this is that you put a levee, which I haven't unlocked, but I can still show you. You put a levee here, which is a solid, basically a solid block of wood, and then you can put your dam on top of the levee, which will increase the water level of that area. So that's the first thing that we're going to unlock as soon as we have the research points to do it. Our science points are here. We need 120 to unlock that, so it's going to take us a little bit. But now that we don't need wood anymore, we can actually turn this on, and we can get science points faster. I usually will have 2 or 3 inventors going at a time, and I'll just turn off what I don't need depending on what I'm looking to do. I'm also going to set our game speed back to medium setting. I'm also going to turn my warehouse back on, and I'm going to store carrots there. You can see this is my berry storage, and he is out of berries. When the berry picker or the gatherer is out of berries to pick, you might as well just pause it. They will eventually grow back, but there's no reason to keep a person there doing nothing. It's literally a waste of a beaver, and you don't have beavers to waste in the early game. So we have 17 logs. That's definitely not enough, but let's also go ahead and make ourselves a log storage. So I'm going to put a large pile right here. Now that's free. Oh, I'm sorry, it costs 6 logs. All right, and we're going to make the pile store logs. Go ahead and get that built up. And that's going to make it much easier. We're not going to have to store logs in these gathering flags, lumberjack flags. We can actually store them where they need to be stored. And you notice that this is actually the range of the lumberjack flag. So he actually can't even reach these 2 or these 3 trees here. And he also can't reach most of these. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of this one. No reason to keep it there. And then we'll put one over here. And now he can reach these. And then we'll designate these trees to be cut. Get that birch. It's not going to give us many, but because it's 1 per, but it's better than nothing. And we'll also put one down here, right here on this, which will give us access to all of these trees. And we'll go ahead and get that starting. And that is going to be very, very good for our supply of wood. I'm actually going to put one more storage pile because we're going to get more wood from these than we are from these. They're going to have to travel all the way up here to this storage pile to put those logs. So I'm actually going to put one right here. And that's going to give this whole area, as they build, a way to grab logs, which is going to be way more efficient for the log, for the wood cutters, and also more efficient for the haulers. So let's go ahead and do that now. And there they go. They're going to start getting that wood. So he's still working here. He's got a couple of trees he can still do. I will eventually, I think, migrate him over to here. We have some spare logs, so let's go ahead and get our second lodge built up. We'll give these guys some houses. Basically, the beavers, the folktail beavers, reproduce like every other mammal on Earth, and they need to have a privacy to do so. So once they have a home, you can see that there's 3 beavers in here. It allows for 3 per lodge. So once we have enough houses and you have a spare vacancy or a spare room for beavers, that's when they'll start to reproduce. And you want to kind of get that not necessarily early, but you want to do it sooner than later, because your beavers will start to die. You can see here you've got your log here, and we had 4 child beavers. They all grew up and now they're part of the workforce. When a beaver is born, there's a number of years where they're not useful. They just run around and do stuff. They don't do anything really. Nothing that's useful to me. But once they grow up into an adult beaver, then now they actually can become part of the workforce. So you need that spare room so that you can have children. If you have no children, you'll eventually see population decline, which you don't want, because it is an easy way to lose the game. We'll store logs in this. And we'll actually, again, we're getting more. We'll actually start. So our beavers are happier than ever. You have reached a new well-being high score of 3. You need a well-being high score, I think, of... It doesn't tell me anymore, but, of 15. So you actually, to unlock the Iron Teeth, you need to have a total well-being of 15 at any given time. It can go to 15 and go back down to 14 at any moment. As long as you eventually have hit 15 at some point, you would then unlock the Iron Teeth faction. And you can also see here, this is what contributes. So because I'm satisfying their hunger, I get +1. Because of the thirst, +1. The sleep, +1. There's not enough shelter, so I'm actually getting a -1. So if I supply 6 more beds, I'll actually have 4 in my well-being. So that's how that works. And you can see that these are all the other things that you can do. There's actually quite a bit that you have to do once you get into the late game to keep them happy. Let's go ahead and build some more lodges. That'll give them 6 more houses, and then this will give them 3 additional. And then once they get these 3 additional, the beavers that are in these 4 houses will start to reproduce. My wood's doing well. 16, it's being stored. We don't have enough workers, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to reduce this by 1 and hopefully get a worker down here. Yes, there we go. And now he's going to start cutting these very valuable trees that give us more logs. We can go ahead and pause this one, and we can pause this one. So that gives us 2 beavers back. Them both there. These are being filled. Now that I'm doing the manual way, you can also check here. It'll tell you the number of beavers you have, the number of children. We have 0. That's bad. We need to have children. This is the number of free beds you have versus occupied beds. So you can see once this is built, we'll get that additional 3 beds, and then they'll start to reproduce pretty quickly, actually. And then you can see your workforce. So you have 12 beavers. You have 0 vacancies and 0 unemployed. So what that means is that every single beaver is either working at the town district or they're working at one of the stations that has an available job. And our water storage is 71. I'm going to build 1 more water tank right here. Store water, because I'm not comfortable with that number. When we get a drought, we're going to be using quite a bit of water per day, and I don't think 75 is going to be. It's not going to be comfy. Let's just say. Okay, we already hit 4. For our well-being. Now you can see here they're reaching the end. They've gone to sleep, so we're not going to see it, but until the morning. But they're reaching the end. By the time they're done, we should have fully grown. You can see that these are at 80%, 97%. So by the time these are done, we should have fully grown carrots that'll allow us to harvest. And that cycle will just kind of continue, and it'll be a low waste cycle. We won't have half of a field ready to harvest. It's going to be very, very much, yeah, see, there we go. So they've only got a couple now to harvest. Pretty much you'll have 1 row. All right, so we now have 109 science points. we do still need 12 more. We actually only need 8 more. Going up quickly. I'm not too worried about wood yet because each one of these oaks again is worth 8 wood or 8 logs. Once I get my levee unlocked, I'm actually going to go ahead and unlock my forester. It's only 30 points, and then that's going to allow us to harvest wood to plant trees. And actually, what I think I'll do first, because I just realized that we need to make planks, and you make planks by producing it. It's basically 1 log to 1 plank, and you need some power. So let's pause the game and let's go ahead and get our power set up here. Let's start to deal with this infrastructure. The way that power works in this game is essentially you have power producing components, whether it's a water wheel that you place in the water, or it's a power wheel that a beaver will actually run in when they're on land. Those components pass through buildings. So if you build a lumber mill, and for instance, you build them next to each other, let's just do it like this. If I build 2 lumber mills like this next to each other, and I have a power producing building like this, you can see that they just lit up like that. And what that means is that these buildings are powered, and because they are connected to each other with no gap in between, they are powering each other. So power passes through buildings. Now, if you can't actually connect buildings together, you can use these power poles or power shafts, which will actually adapt to the direction that you'd like to put them in. You can see it just made a right angle there for me. It just made a T-section. That's actually new. You used to have individual components to place. It was very tedious. Now they just do it for you. There's no reason to torture us. But if you needed to produce power, and if you needed to pass power maybe over a distance, then you would use the power shafts. But I try to make my builds as close to each other as possible so that I don't have to worry about using those. So what we're going to do initially, because we don't have a water wheel yet, water wheels cost 50 wood. I'd prefer to just have one that's a power wheel just initially, especially because when I have a drought, I can still produce what I need to produce. I don't need to rely on the current of the river. So we'll go ahead and put our first lumber mill here, just like this. And I think that's good. And then what we'll also do is, actually, let's move it up just a little bit. Let me go ahead and let's demolish this building. Let's put it right here. All right, and then we'll come this way. We will have to eventually get rid of that. Come down and across. We'll build a dam across here, or maybe even once we unlock it, we'll build our platform so that we don't block water. But this is gonna be our industrial area. Eventually, we're gonna have them kind of like going like this. All of our different industrial facilities. That's just a basic layout. But for right now, what I'd like to do is set up my power wheel right here. That's going to produce power. He just needs this. And we will mark this for resource for demolition so that we can get in here and just connect these two. We'll go ahead and unpause and let them do that work. You can see I now have my other tank, so my water is going up. We're starting to access this, and this is good. These oaks are being replanted. It's going to take quite a while, 30 days. But once those oaks come up, it's great for your wood supply. These guys are getting into this wood here. All right, so now that we have 135 science, let's go ahead and unlock our levee, which is right here. Yes, I want to unlock it. And one thing that's pretty cool about this game too is that the beavers kind of don't have a height issue. And what I mean by that is when you build and you build straight across like this, for instance, as long as the beavers can access this tile right here, I'll put a marker on it. As long as the beavers can access this tile, they can actually build here. And then they can build here, and they can build here, and they can build here. The problem is that once they build this one, they have to be able to walk to the next one. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to place your dam structure like this. Okay, so you've got your levees at the bottom, they block the water. The water will rise up to the dam opening and it will start to flow out. What the beaver will actually do is it will first build the bottom levee, and then it will build the dam. And then it will build, and now it can walk across here, to this edge, and then it will build this levee, and then it will build this dam, and then it will walk to this ledge, and then it will build this levee, and then it will build this dam, etc. So you can actually, it's a very smart building system. You can leave all this placed, and the beavers will only build what they're able to build, and they'll actually prioritize that on their own. And I think that's a huge benefit of this game, is that the AI is very, very intelligent, and it doesn't require a lot of micromanagement. We should mark these for destruction so that we can go ahead and start building this. Get this path built straight across, and then I can access these berries, but also it's going to dam off this lake so that I can have a nice reserve here and create a good flow, like I said before. So let's go ahead and turn on the game. You can see that our farmers here are now able to pretty much have a constant supply of carrots. We've got 99 total carrots now, which they can eat raw. You don't have to cook those. It's actually the only food source you don't have to cook, besides berries. Now that I've got a spare house, I actually have children being born, which is good. That means our population is not going to age and die. And then what also happened was we had a drought starting. So up here is going to be your drought approaching kind of timer. So in 2.9 days, we're going to have that drought. So we don't need to have it because we've got our dam. It'll block off this, but we'd like to have this in place, our dam over here in place before that drought shows up. But I don't know if it's going to happen because there's a lot of wood needed to do that. Go ahead and pause this building. We don't need to have anybody in here because it can't be worked on because we have to remove this bush so that we can actually make this pathway. What I'm actually going to do, I think, is increase the priority of this to very high so that they come over here and take care of that. And look, ask and you shall receive. Look at that. That's just how much they respect me as their overlord. All right, so now I can turn this back on. You can see up here that I have 12 adults, 1 kid, or 1 child, and I have 2 vacancies. So there are 2 buildings that can be worked that I have nobody working in. So I could actually reduce this by 2, and those people will go work in those buildings. Sometimes you have to pause and unpause. Yeah. So now I have 0 vacancies. There's a guy. He's gonna do it now. So they just get in here and they just start walking, man. Easiest job in the colony. I'd take it. Could use the exercise. All right, great. So now we didn't actually even have to demolish that. They just walk straight across. That's nice. So we need to do that eventually anyway. So you can see he built this. He can't reach this right from here, but he built it because he can drop it down basically. So now they're going to make this one. They're already 52% of the way there. And they're going to build this one and then this one and then this one and then this one. Hopefully we have enough wood to get that done. Like I said, there's a lot of oaks over here, so I think we'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and research my forester. Let's get that going. Because we are now making planks, which uses up a log, but we need to make 7 planks in order to be able to get forestry. Now, I don't like to waste fertile land if I can help it. The only thing is that if I place this here, I'm not going to have access to this area to plant trees. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. So, you know, you sacrifice 6. I guess it's really only 4 tiles so that you can get access to all those tiles. It's kind of worth it. So let me go ahead and do this now. We'll put this in a place where there's not going to be any waste. I think this is a good spot right here. That way I have all of this area over here. I have all of that green area over there. I think that's perfect. So now as soon as they have enough planks, they'll go ahead and build this. Takes 7. This guy stores planks, so he's already got 4 going. And you can also see that up here in your materials storage. Materials are stored in the same way that other objects or commodities are. You see you got carrots here. We've got berries here. We've got wood in here or logs. But planks are stored, I believe, in a warehouse. So we'll go ahead and put a warehouse right here, just so we can store our planks. I feel like it's a waste of a space. Well, we're gonna have to put a cable. We're gonna have to put a. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna have to put power here anyway when we build our water wheels. We'll have to put one there anyway, so that's actually fine. That actually works out great. Maybe we'll put 2 of those eventually. And then this will store planks. This actually doesn't store planks. Okay. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's a pile. And the pile does store planks. Okay. Good to know. All right, so we actually, oh, see, it just populated. There it goes. See this? This is literally the most efficient way to have a farm. 2 farmers. They both have plant as their priority. By the time they get done planting, another one pops up. Look at that. Clockwork. And we have almost enough now for the forester. So we'll go ahead and set up the forester while we're doing that. What you basically do is you come here to plant trees and bushes. I'm going to go ahead and plant pine, and I'm going to plant them basically everywhere that I can. These areas where it's barren, as long as you can see some green, you can typically plant there. And if you can't, they just won't plant there, and then you just delete it afterwards. So I don't really worry about it. I just do it, and if I can't do it, I'll just delete it after. This one, this one, this one, this one. I get this diagonal here. Like these, you can probably plant at. There's even a little bit of green. It's typically going to be okay. All right, and then we'll just do all of this. All of this. I'd rather have more than less. You can always delete. Speaking of, let me actually go ahead and do this. Put this path back. We're symmetrical. And then we'll plant our pines. The reason I'm doing pines is because in 12 days I get 2, whereas in 7 days I get 1 birch. So it's actually more efficient. Technically you would do, if you wanted the most efficient, you actually would do the oaks. But the problem is I don't want to wait 30 days yet. I just don't have 30 days to wait. So what I do is I plant a bunch of pine. And then once I'm comfortable with my wood supply, I will then migrate over slowly to oak. The other benefit of pine is that it has sap, which in later recipes is used to make syrup, which is used to make maple cookies and a bunch of other high-level food. All right. These are going to get deleted actually in a minute because I have to, once I build a house up here, these will get deleted. That's okay. For right now, we can use them for trees. So we're not going to have any tree issues, any log issues once this is done. And you can see that this thing has access to all of these areas, so we will be fine. Once they build it, we'll actually have to have a forester work here. And there's our drought. So you can see that the water source dried up, but because we have this little step here, we've actually been able to trap water here. And the water level has sunk below where the dam will allow water to leave. So we basically have this much water. We have to maintain it for 2.3 days, which is not going to be an issue. We would likely not even see this water go down in that short amount of time. So normally I would stop the pump when I have a drought, but it's just, there's no reason to do it because we're just not going to run out. Let these guys finish building this, and that's going to be great for our next drought. What you'll actually have to do eventually is make foresters that are inside of your cutting area. So you can see that this guy can reach most of my cutting area, but he can't reach down here. So I'm going to have to put probably one more forester right here. And we'll go ahead and do that now. And we'll just put him on pause because we don't need him right now. We also don't need this guy. He's literally doing nothing. This guy, he just migrated to that one. Cool. My population is going up. I have another child. But I need more houses. So let's go ahead and unpause all of these. The only risk with having too many houses is if you don't have enough food and enough water, which we do. What'll happen is if you build too many houses, the beavers will expand too quickly and they'll actually eat all of your food and water before you can make more of it. So, you know, you don't have to be too careful, but you do have to be aware of that. So it's the reason why I'm being a little hesitant to build too many houses, but building this much extra is fine. Again, we don't want to have a scenario where we have a negative population. We started with 12 total beavers, 8 adults and 4 children, and we don't want to go below 12. I'm just going to speed the game up through this drought because there really isn't much that they can do. Except for build. Drought's over in 0.7 days. Got my farmers working. What's good is that the water line stays. If the water line were to actually sink even just one tile, you would see this green fertile area recede. It would actually probably come to like right here. The higher this water level is, the more fertile area it seeds into the ground. So eventually you actually can make a lot of this fertile if you can get the water to come down to certain areas. You know, if water were to flow through here, for instance, this would all be green. All right, our drought is over. You can see that the water is going to get pretty much turned back on, which is pretty much, this is right here. I believe that's a water source. We need to get our, what are we waiting on? What's the problem here? We have 13 planks. Why isn't this built? No builders? 2 builders. Lazy. That's all it is. Oh, we've delivered our planks. We're just waiting for logs. We can actually make this a higher priority because we do need to start planting these trees. They take 7 days to grow, and we're running out of trees in the wilderness here. We have 2 more kids. That's great. So this guy's probably coming to... Yep, he is. That's one thing that I like. Oh, maybe it looks stupid. Just going over here. Okay, this guy's going there. 2 more. And one thing you're going to want to put pretty early is your teeth grindstone. They actually need this. It's under well-being. They actually need the teeth grindstone to fix their teeth. Sometimes they'll break their teeth and they'll become less effective, and it's not a good situation. So I put a bunch of them everywhere, but I'll put one right here for now. We have a lot of signs we can spend. Let's go ahead and do that now. So you can make a floodgate, and a floodgate is basically a dam that has a variable length. If you were to, for instance, unlock the triple floodgate, you would have access to that height, and you'd be able to actually control the height of the water level behind the floodgate. This is good if you want to let more water in from a reservoir. Depending on if you have a drought or something and you want to slowly trickle water in, that's probably the most common use case of it. What you also have is a sluice, which is actually, it allows you to let water in or out, and it's also kind of a filter. And it goes at the bottom of typically of your builds, which is a filter, which will actually allow you to draw bad tide out if you get bad tide mixed in with your water. So let's unlock the gear workshop. That's going to be important because we need gears to make power. No. And let's also unlock level 1 of we need to get the stairs. That's important. And we also are going to want to unlock, once we can, the level 1 platform. And that's going to let us build basically over water or over path, 1 tile high. It's actually a very, very useful way to build. Eventually you'll run out of room, or you just need to maybe go over tiles. You don't want to destroy path or reroute it, so you just build over it. Very, very useful piece. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for my first episode of Timberborn on DP After Dark. If you enjoyed the game, if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and let me know in the comments section. If you'd like to see more of this, I'll have a playlist that I'll put on the screen. I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening. And if you made it this far, maybe consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel for more of this type of content. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.